My name is James Alofs. After leaving Toronto, I moved to 40 acres of Canadian wilderness. A former Asian TV star lives alone in Canada's deep wilderness, growing veggies, chopping wood, and taking daily photos with an ancient camera. Few realize he's James Alofs. I heard this ice hole had maple syrup flavor. Overran. He was friendly. Something is chasing him as he yells. A prominent Beijing actor. Who quit fame to start over? Why did he abandon everything for the wilderness? What is Wild Homestead? A film or a life confession? Explore James Alofs' rebirth. James initially didn't want to make the initiative public. After abandoning the metropolis and the entertainment world, he merely wanted to capture his personal reconstruction. He erected a scrapwood shack, lived in terrible conditions, and filmed a few short videos with an ancient camera. After reviewing them, he realized the rawness of the photographs was exactly what he wanted. Simplicity, authenticity, and slowness. From there, a self-sufficient life video series was conceived. James did everything alone without help. Just 2 cameras, an ancient drone, and a 10-year-old PC for editing. Each program was 20 minutes yet took weeks to finish. Simple shots like building a fire and chopping wood required time and numerous failures. A modest wooded cottage hosted editing. DaVinci Resolve was utilized for color and picture work without music or narration. The languid, mesmerizing beat came from that choice. James termed it the language of stillness, which modern TV forgets. Many problems lurked behind such peaceful frames. Damp hard disks erased entire batches of data. Snowstorms often flooded the cabin, forcing him to cease filming and spend nights salvaging equipment. After finishing an episode, he spent dozens of hours editing scenes to make viewers feel rather than be told. Wild Homestead's style was shaped by persistence, not to teach skills or elicit emotion, but to document a person's life. Reception to the first episode exceeded expectations. Within months, viewership reached hundreds of thousands. No traditional entertainment was found. They liked its genuineness and simplicity. Every action of a guy living in nature, working with his hands, and speaking little had weight. The cabin, first winter constructing, and night by the fire were later highlights that brought his channel hundreds of thousands of viewers. Wild Homestead became more than a hobby. It appeared in Canadian, American, and European minimalist and ecological living magazines. James briefly addressed some TV questions, but I don't want to turn this into media. Just living. That humility piqued popular interest. His narrative resonated with many who wanted to escape the hectic, noisy pace of life. Despite fame, he continued his old approach. No sponsorships, growth, or new equipment. He considered Wild Homestead a learning process, not a brand. Each episode was a comment about humanity's ability to coexist with nature without losing identity. He stated, "I'm not escaping society. I'm merely changing pace." For James Wild, Homestead translated his artistic vision into another language. Instead of acting, he lived. He substituted woodland noises for conversation. He let time tell the story. The initiative connected humans and environment, creator and audience, those seeking to rediscover existence. To understand why James selected that path, we must return to his metropolitan boyhood, when he was from another world. The first journey James was raised to study well, work in a big firm, and develop a career. Nothing indicated that he might one day choose a different path. His search for self began with steadiness. James majored in economics at Canada's top Queen's University. After graduation, he got an MBA from York University's Schulich School of Business. His business approach, analytical skills, and discipline got him a job in an international marketing company. James recognized he was following someone else after several years. In a subsequent interview, he stated, "I knew I was excellent, but I didn't know who I was." This realization was the first turning point. He left a high-paying job to be creative. James began his career composing commercial scripts and concepts. The environment allowed him to apply imagination, but he realized that commercial motives limited originality. Even outside business organization, he was trapped. James switched from advertising to acting. He took small Toronto classes and auditioned for commercials and independent films. His unique appearance and expression caught attention. He found great chance when he left Canada for Asia, a risky career decision. James spent over a decade in Beijing after arriving in 2008. He learned Mandarin, taught English, and made his way into local entertainment in China. His strengths were Western and Asian cultural comprehension and communication adaptability. James hosted TV shows, starred in movies, and became famous in China. He worked with domestic and international producers on important projects, playing Mandarin-speaking foreigners. Rare then. Beijing taught James more than any school. He watched people living in a congested, ever-developing city. He recognized the appeal of celebrity and accomplishment. They also realized their boundaries. I previously thought going further meant growth, he replied. I understood that sometimes stepping back is the only way to see the road. Asia strengthened his observational thinking. Later, Wild Homestead's core. Working in Chinese media taught him to photograph life to communicate stories without words. More crucially, he identified natural rhythm, which modern media sacrifices for drama. That made him see the world as a narrative, not a performer. Beijing's constant change challenged him to adjust. Life in the megacity with hectic schedules and constrained areas made him realize the conflict between growth and freedom. James wondered what success meant as others chased prestige. He often stayed alone by the window after filming, taking notes and sketching concepts for a life where people worked with their hands, breathed clean air, and needed no validation. James began to realize that advancement did not mean inner growth. Ambition depleted his friends and isolated from nature, prompting his need for quiet. He worked hard in television and talk programs in Asia for a decade, becoming a rare foreign performer in China. He felt alone and imprisoned in a difficult cycle as he became more successful. James stated he felt emptiest during his most prosperous era in an interview. He lost his youth interest and leisure for himself. That was the first evidence of inner dissatisfaction, which would drive him later. James stopped in 2020 because to the global epidemic. Cancelled projects. Entertainment ended. First time in years, he was alone. It was then that returning to Canada was conceived. He wanted breathing room to reconsider his route. James resided in Beijing, one of the world's most active cities, yet he discovered that speed did not mean inner progress. He craved stillness more as the commotion increased. In Canada, James no longer wanted to be an artist. He merely desired life. Everything he studied, economics, marketing, media, helped him define enough. Looking back, he recognized that every step, albeit distinct, led somewhere. His desire to live authentically without influence, his studies and work, organization planning, and strategic thinking helped him construct his new life. His journalistic experience helped him to relate his story honestly. The birth of Wild Homestead was the inevitable conclusion of a long process. From his Toronto office days to his Beijing nights alone. That voyage led to his biggest conflict, between fame and independence, between what was seen and what he wanted to maintain. Inner strife. James Alofs had everything a foreign entertainer could want in China at his peak. He was renowned as a Westerner who understands Eastern culture after appearing in major TV shows and films. His calm, intellectual, and unassuming image was everywhere. Behind the achievement, James felt he was living someone else's life. Fast fame brought unseen chains. He had to seem perfect and friendly at every photo, contract, and interview. He was prompt, never furious, and camera-ready, according to colleagues. He considered it a golden cage, but it made him excellent for television. He grew more far from himself as he appeared. Traveling between Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou left no time to rest. The industry was harsh. One error can ruin reputation. Years passed without a day off. Continuous interviews, long days, and restless nights became regular. He once managed 3 projects while dozing in automobiles between sets. The life of success was exhausting and empty. James eventually realized he had money, work, and recognition except himself. Not remorse, but clarity. Fame stopped being fun. Each time the camera turned toward him, he had to protect a fake self. He lost genuineness with every compliment. The pandemic followed. Production ceased. The entertainment industry froze as projects disappeared. James woke up without a schedule, contracts, or rehearsals for the first time in years. Instead of fear, stillness was relief. So much of his life had been spent performing, not living. That pause changed everything. He wrote after rereading Toronto notes and viewing student films. He recovered his curious, unguarded youth beneath layers of roles. He wanted to live without being watched, not prove anything. Ironically, that revelation drove him back to the camera to capture truth, not performance. James moved to the country during solitude. Practiced yoga. Meditated, studied organic farming, and watched nature regularly. Each shot showed clouds, trees, and wind in a quieter pace. Being cautious with the camera replaced vanity. He stopped worrying about fame and wondered how humans could live without being seen. His 2023 departure from China was simple: go home. He bought land in northern Ontario after returning to Canada. He went from deadline-driven to season-driven. It was hard to build shelter, obtain water, and survive cold, yet it brought calm. Time taught him he never wanted to return to the old world. His career-defining skills, filming, editing, storytelling, now documented actual life. Wild Homestead, not a show, was born from this visual record of starting over. His prior accomplishment was against what he cherished now. His freedom was seized by fame. Now he reclaimed it with his craft. The camera that imprisoned him proved his legitimacy. Beijing viewers were confused by his disappearance. James left fulfilled, not defeated. In one speech, he remarked, "Every journey ends naturally. Staying will keep you in someone else's role." James stayed awake when the lights turned out. He changed. The millions of TV viewers he once had become people seeking simplicity and truth. Wild Homestead became his peaceful conversation with the world. By presence, not words. Outside the stage, James remained. The seclusion of the woods helped him become calmer and rediscover life's ultimate meaning: returning to oneself. James lived a private life but was not isolated. He still shares his knowledge on Wild Homestead. Each video represents a step toward self-sufficiency. Build a house, cook, make tools, or just relax. Grand concepts are absent, just acts and live noises remain. He believes the truth need not be said loudly. In recent videos, James' calm appears solid, older, and brighter. He's not trying to prove or represent. Simple continuance of his liberation hunt. He believes freedom means living one's authentic self without faking, chasing, or dependent. James is alone. He keeps his private life secret and rarely socializes. He lives with balance, nevertheless. He meditates before bed, does yoga in the morning, and eats largely plants. He argues these practices anchor the psyche. He works with his hands for hours in middle age, healthy and robust. He claimed the body adjusts when you live near nature. Nature teaches good living. James expands his homestead outside filming. He builds a woodshop cottage, a greenhouse, and a rainwater system, all by hand without professional aid. To him, every project requires patience. "Everything here takes time," he remarked gently. Never start if you desire perfection. Living alone doesn't mean shunning civilization. James educates local youngsters' survival skills and supports reforestation. Engages with environmental groups on sustainability, plastic reduction, and clean energy. All YouTube podcast and small media project revenue goes to homesteading and community activity. When asked why he makes media in seclusion, James says, "I'm not leaving the world. Just living differently. And if what I do helps others find peace, I want to share it." This balance makes Wild Homestead a bridge between two worlds, one of digital noise and one of natural silence. His channel grows steadily without promotion or marketing. Many viewers do not come for tutorials, but to listen to silence. Some say that watching a single video makes them feel lighter. Amid the rush of online content, James's slow meditative visuals offer rare stillness. That calm rhythm gives the project lasting life. It follows no trends, only the natural pace of humanity. Alongside the channel, he produces a podcast called Wild Homestead Talks, where he reflects on simple living, solitude, and the meaning of enough. Each 10-minute episode is recorded in his cabin with the sound of wind or rain in the background. The principles guiding his life are threefold: self-reliance, sustainability, and stillness. He uses only what he needs, reuses what he can, and keeps his life slow to stay balanced. Even though he no longer works as a professional artist, his creativity endures. Wild Homestead itself is a living artwork. Each video blends film and reality, thoughtful framing, natural light, and deliberate pacing. He may have stopped performing, but he continues to tell stories. Only this time, they need no dialogue. After more than 2 years, his new life has stabilized. The homestead now produces enough food all year. He grows vegetables, raises chickens, stores firewood, and runs solar power. From his cabin window, he watches the lake freeze in winter and melt again in spring, a rhythm of nature he deeply respects. For many, such solitude might feel lonely. For James, it is freedom. Today, Wild Homestead has grown beyond a personal project into a symbol of mindful living. It proves that in the 21st century, when technology accelerates every aspect of life, some still choose to slow down and rebuild with their own hands. James Alofs' story does not urge anyone to flee cities. It suggests that everyone can find their own homestead. An inner place of sufficiency even when the world outside never feels enough. From corporate employee to actor to forest dweller, James Alofs has crossed 3 stages of modern life: seeking, achieving, and letting go. Wild Homestead is not an adventure, but a quiet experiment in what enough truly means. James Alofs is not leaving the world. He is simply choosing his place in it again. Smaller, simpler, and truer. His journey reminds us that sometimes the greatest progress comes not from moving farther, but from knowing when to stop. If you want to keep following the journeys of people who dare to live differently, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you do not miss upcoming episodes of Wild Homestead.